Alright, so we're going to open up the first part of the headlines. Now the number one thing you got to know is the bump headline graphic itself needs to be at the very top of the script. Okay, so what we're going to do, this first element's a one-shot. I'm going to go ahead and find a one-shot code. I'm going to go ahead and turn music on. There's another custom control that I didn't add right off the top, but we're going to go back to that in a second. I'm just going to check my audio settings and Emmys and buses. Everything's good. Now here's the next most important. You're going to add a take and prep custom control on prepared, and this is always going to be for your first element in bump headlines. So whatever your first element is, you're going to have to put take and prep on prepared in the custom controls for that. And then you can go ahead and insert it. Save out of it. You're done with that line. Next, we're going to open up the SOTVO script. Now, something to note, this SOTVO is the same story as that one shot. So it's not a separate story. You're not going to, the headlines is not going to advance on the SOTVO because it's still the same story. So all we're doing is coding it like we normally would. All we're doing is adding ovation on audio settings, so music will continue. Nothing special about the SOTVO because it's the same story for as A2 is. You're going to keep up that same lower A2 through A3. Hopefully that makes sense. So right now I'm just trying to find a continued VO code. And then I'm going to put ovation on there. So when her mic comes up, music stays up as well. Save out of that. A3 is done. Now for A4, this is going to be your second T. So if you saw an A2, it's bump 2 headlines. So that means there's 2 stories. So A4 is your second story. So what we're going to do is grab a VO code. But what you're going to do is in the video transition line on the top right, you're going to do T's next. If you have a bump 2 headlines, for the second headline, you're always going to do the T's next. For the third headline, T's next. Not for the first one, but it's for the rest of your headlines. You're going to have to do T's next on that transition line. Okay, so if that didn't make sense, we'll code another one here. This is a separate headlines. This one's bump 3 headlines. That means there's going to be 3 elements to this. So first things first, you got to move that graphic to the very top of the line. Even if there's a video placeholder, the bump 3 headline graphic goes to the very top. I'm first going to add music because this is the first element, so I want music to start here. And then remember what I said before, take and prep, custom control on prepared because it's the first element. And that's good for that first code. I'm going to put this underneath that video placeholder. Here's a continued VO. This one you're just coding like normal. You're just going to add ovation into the audio settings so music stays up for the continued VO portion. The reason you're not doing anything special is because you're still using that same lower third that's going to come up for the SOT for the continued VO. So you're just coding it like you would normal headlines. All right, so for the second element, this is actually the second story this time. So I'm just going to find a regular VO code. But if you remember what I said last time, is for any element that's not the first one on video transition, we got to do T's next. So I put that on there. Check my audio, it has ovation, my anchor's mic, we're good. All right, and now for this is the third headline VO. You're going to find the correct code, and then again, you're going to do T's next on video transition, because for every element that's not the first one, you do that for.